Rhythm games. I don't think I need to explain what these are. You take a look at a machine like this once, and in just a matter of seconds, you get it. You understand that it's music. Whether it's pressing buttons at 90 miles an hour or flopping around like a jellyfish on the shoreline, rhythm games were made so we can live out our wildest musical fantasies without any of the talent to show for it. Except for me, it's a little bit of a different story. See, I think I was just destined at a young age to be a musician. This is Cinder, and this is Lorelei, Amethyst, Piano, and this is Jin, who's feeling a little torn apart right now. I started playing back when I was just a wee little lad, and ever since the days of my neighbors hating my existence, to say I haven't had a small bit of success would be a bit of an understatement. The last concert I played back in 2020, I opened for Puddle of Mud. Back before that, I drove all the way out to Nashville to record a song with a Grammy-winning producer where they replaced my drum parts.
Why did they make me sound like a Christian rock artist?
So I decided to play every single rhythm game that I could get my hands on. I have been feeling the itch to make music again, so instead of spending all of this time and money on hundreds of different music software that I've never been able to understand completely, I thought it was a much better idea to spend my time and money on something far more valuable than that. Oversized plastic. I started out by making videos and entertaining people by ways of being a musician, so I feel like if I play 101 rhythm games and listen to all the music within, I can do a much better job now than I did 4 years ago, because let's be honest, it can't get much worse than that. And what better place to start than all the way back in 1992, where the whole genre began with the game that started it all. We're still not back far enough. This is Dance Aerobics, the first home console rhythm game all the way back in 1987. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the Power Pad, this neat little peripheral you'd plug into your NES where you could play World Track Meet by running on top of this mat. But Dance Aerobics had you move into the music, timing your steps to the beat of the song. Really a revolution in the world of dancing. But that's not even the beginning of it, because we have to go 10 more years into the past to a game we've probably all heard of. Yeah, not your traditional rhythm game. You press the buttons as they light up on the screen and this little sound plays. But hey, you are playing an interactable game with rhythm-based elements, so if Wikipedia says it, we're gonna count it. Okay, I promise I'll stop bullshitting. Let's just get to the good stuff.
Punch, it's all in the mind. If you wanna test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach ya. Sure to beat ya. Nevertheless, to get a lesson from teacher, now kick. Kick!
I love Parappa the Rappa. It's just this wacky little dog who's falling in love with a paper mache flower. But a couple notes, why is it called Parappa the Rapper instead of Parappa the Rappa? Also, do we really need a giant-ass border taking up more real estate than the game itself? Nitpicking aside, this was the world's first exposure to rhythm games. Note scrolling towards the screen as you press them in time with a rhythm and try to match them up the best you can. And this is what most people think of when they hear the term rhythm games, just maybe not so much the Rastafari Frog, the Karate Chopping Onion, World War III raining down on the city of Parappa the Rappaville, which is followed no less than 5 minutes later by
Orbit, suck it, I know you all like it.
Xalem? Xalem, I need you to say the line that we, okay.
That song is actually from Parappa the Rappa 2, but we can't just forget about Jammer Lammy. Exact same concept as Parappa the Rapper, however you play as Lammy, a shy lamb guitarist who winds up in similar wacky adventures and just uses whatever she could find as a guitar, like a chainsaw, a baby, and my favorite, the fireman's hose. If you thought something sexual, that's on you. I did not believe it when I found out that these games were made by a Japanese studio, because I thought that they were focusing on the godfather of all rhythm games, Beatmania. Now, if you haven't heard of Beatmania, you're not really missing out on much. It was an arcade game that released back in Japan and that took your stereotypical DJ turntable and threw it into an arcade cabinet. Notes flying up towards the screen, all while you use your special edition Corsair controller to match the rhythm moving towards you, which led to phenomenal success. 30 plus entries for a rhythm game series that most people have never heard of makes for a very interesting family reunion.
Hey everybody.
Hi, Xalem! But this was such a genius idea. We've created a new instrument, an unpopular one at that. So what if we took this formula right here, made it flashier, and used it with a more popular instrument like a game that needs no introduction but is getting one anyways. This is Dance Dance Revolution, a game that changed the world, especially me, but mostly just the world. Dance Dance Revolution, or as the commoners call it DDR, encompasses everything that an arcade rhythm game should be. You look at it for 5 minutes, go, yep, I know how to do that, and then you fail miserably. Unlike Beatmania, this did make it out of Japan and became somewhat of a household name, so long as you were under the age of 40. And I mean, look at this compared to Beatmania. No wonder this was a success. You put in a coin and the game screams,
Dance Dance Revolution!
before injecting you into the most late 90s acid trip of a melody, and before you know it, you're just busting it down Virgin style. Not only was this a simple, easy to understand time, but the standard cabinet was a 2-player machine, meaning I could invite all of my friends to come with me and experience what cardiac arrest is like. And I remember back as a kid walking into this rundown arcade, the first thing I always heard was the loud pulsing rhythms of Dance Dance Revolution. And when you had someone in the arcade who knew how to play this thing, it was like watching a street performance. Except instead of a bucket and a couple of spoons, it was a $5,000 floor mat. Thankfully, I was not alone here because DDR's success led to dozens of sequels. Legends say you can go into a new arcade every day and never play the same game twice. But for those less fortunate Xalems who are 7 years old and don't have access to one of these, you can experience all of the fun of your local arcade right inside of your living room.
This is what the future looks like.
Now, it wouldn't be Dance Dance Revolution if we didn't have a big hunk of plastic lying around. And I mean, it works. Sometimes. This was the early 90s and 2000s. If you've got a plastic mat whose entire identity revolves around getting stepped on, I'm not really expecting quality, and there's no back bar like a normal arcade machine, so like, I guess you can make it work. But let's be honest, this hunk of plastic right here is basically just an excuse for moms to say, Mom, can we go to the arcade to play DDR?
No, sweetie, we've got DDR at home.
Why did Nintendo invest all of their money into one game on the GameCube?
Nintendo was really weird with DDR. Like, they had one game on the GameCube, but they went as far as to create a peripheral slipcover for the Game Boy so that you can play Butterfly in all of its glory of 144p. Nintendo 64 had one rhythm game, no, not that one, Dance Dance Revolution Disney Dancing Museum, where you can play all of your favorite Disney songs like Goofy's Rock and Roll Show.
You know, this kind of reminds me of that one song from the Goofy movie. How does it go again?
Don't you wanna be hanging from a tree?
So while Nintendo was doing that, Konami was investing their time into 2 more games, Guitar Freaks and Drum Mania. Now, I like feet just as much as the next person, but you're telling me I could play an instrument and make myself feel like I'm actually in a rock band? No, we're not ready for you yet, we'll get there. Guitar Freaks continues this idea where as soon as you see these notes coming across the screen, you know exactly what to do. Not your taxes. It's not a bad time for what's essentially the godfather to one of the most popular rhythm games of all time. 3 buttons and a strum bar, and you hit the buttons as they come towards the screen. Now, as someone who's been playing guitar since they were 12, I can say with confidence, those are notes. And I am holding what looks like a guitar. It's not very accurate in regard to which notes are higher pitched and which notes are lower pitched, but at least it reminds me of playing an actual guitar. Like, I'm a musician now. I could audition to be in a band.
Yeah, I played Guitar Freaks once, I feel like I'm ready.
No.
But now Drum Mania, I can't tell you if this is accurate or not because I have no idea what's going on screen right now. Why are the notes the same color as the highway? Why do these perfects appear right on top of blocking the highway? And why are they the same color? The bass pedal being in the middle and labeled as a foot just causes more clutter instead of being a flat bar across the screen. It's not that bad at lower levels, but I can't see how anybody can tackle these games at higher difficulty with the layout looking like this.
The charts are also just highly inaccurate. I'm playing songs that I know note for note how to play on an actual drum set, and I'm still barely able to make any progress in this game. The drums feel fine, I guess. There's this weird spacing between the pads that just makes it unnatural to do fills, but that's okay because all of this would change whenever we get to the next series on our list.
Still no.
I made them myself.
This was the first wave in the rhythm game boom. Every developer going out there saying, "Aw, parents love their kids hauling a hunk of plastic around the house." Have fun, kid. And some of them are fine. I mean, they're fun to pick up and play if you don't have the space to play a real instrument. Or when your friends come over, you can just say, "I've got a new Resident Evil game." But at that point, why would I not just go to an arcade with those friends so we can experience the same games together? But hey, some developers knew this, which gave us some gems like Gitaru Man, a fully story-driven rhythm game where the gameplay takes place in the foreground and the wacky little adventure takes place in the background. Rez is a futuristic rhythm shooter where you fly through this cybernetic world and shoot enemies to the beat of the music. I never really felt the rhythm game part though, because the music never seemed to sync up when I played it. Now available in VR. Buster Groove is an action rhythm fighting game with the catchiest song I've ever heard of.
I would never ever run away. I'll be here to fight. Another day, I will make you realize.
Let's not forget the sequel. Rhythm and Face is a Japanese-only title that's supposed to be a spiritual successor to LSD Dream Emulator?
You got the goods?
Yeah, man, I've got exactly what you need. One hit off of this, and in 30 seconds, I guarantee—
Defense!
Slap Happy Rhythm Busters, Frequency, Amplitude, Mad Maestro, there were plenty of developers making genuinely original ideas centered around rhythm. What in the Balan Wonder is that? Vib Ribbon had a really cool concept. The game's software loads into the PlayStation's RAM, letting the player use any music CD to play custom levels. That way, the game can generate a unique level from any track on their own custom CD. If the damn game would have been released in America.
But it is in your browser. Granted, you can't upload any custom tracks into it, but that still means I played it, right? Right?
No. Why are you even here?
You know why I'm here, because I saw the flyer for your band and I wanted to join.
This is a Chinese takeout menu.
if you look on the back, it's not.
Okay, even if you want to be in the band, have you ever even written a song before?
So one thing about me is I've never been good at music production. I'm a fantastic musician, but when it comes to actually producing that music, that's where I tend to struggle, which is why the PlayStation 2 had MTV Music Generator, a mixing studio all pre-built within the PlayStation interface to allow schmucks like me who suck at production to go wild. Imagine this as PlayStation's GarageBand, except people have been able to do absolutely incredible things with this, almost replicating the entire sound font of everyday music. Meanwhile, over in my camp,
This is cute.
Yes.
But while all of these rhythm games were creative in their own right, they're not the hardest things to program. So long as you have a BPM and can have button prompts fly in the screen, anybody can make a rhythm game. Would you like your Happy Feet with the official movie soundtrack or the copyright-free soundtrack?
Yeah, I can't play any copywritten music, so anything that plays for an extended period of time, we're just gonna throw a Minecraft cover in there.
A lot of movie tie-in games were doing this, and it makes a lot of sense. Hire a third-party developer to make a quick game to release alongside of your multi-million-dollar film? Dancing Fish? But it wasn't just big-name movies doing this. Oh, no. We also saw games pop up like American Idol that used actual clips from Season 2 from the show in the game. But I don't care about the PlayStation 2 version. I care about the Game Boy Advance version, because this is without a doubt the best rhythm game I've played today.
You are my fire, the one desire.
I am so proud of the work that we've put in here today. Grandma's funeral is going to be the biggest event we've ever done, so without further ado, let's just take it away. 3, 2, 1, tell me why
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
You got that right.
I mean, vocals sound good. I mean, you just need to work on your harmonies.
Okay, but how did you become so good? How can I be a producer like you?
Well, I actually just played 100 rhythm games.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what all great musicians do. Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Taylor Swift.
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, I play 101. would I be able to join your band?
Maybe, but what I do suggest is double up. Play more than one at a time. And since you need help with those vocal harmonies...
This is SingStar, one of 26 games in the series where you watch music videos on your screen and sing into a microphone while the microphone judges your pitch. I think it's funny when you think about SingStar's existence. It's the textbook definition of homemade karaoke, which, fun fact, in Japanese means empty orchestra because nobody wants to come over and play this with me. I'll be honest, I have nothing but fond memories of SingStar growing up. Just my family and I gathered around a TV, belting out songs that we barely knew the words to because the only game we owned at the time was SingStar 80s. And as far as the gameplay goes, it honestly does a really good job at picking up the pitch of your voice and matching it to the screen. You could use the iToy to put yourself on the living room TV after buying 5 of them that didn't work and now you've got to give up on this bit. But for a $99 price tag that's essentially just a karaoke machine with 30 songs, hell, I could just go buy Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and just sing along to that soundtrack and not have to subject myself to a game with... I now own 4 of these games. Wait a second, Tricky Bastard was hiding from me. With all of these songs readily available on the internet for free, there's no real reason to have a dedicated game built for karaoke. But hey, SingStar was a wild success at the time, so while many people had PlayStation microphones now sitting in their homes taking up space, let me rephrase that. Since SingStar went through all the research and development to create all of these household microphones, that means Disney can come by and slap whatever garbage they wanted on there. High School Musical Sing It, breaking free from the clutches of Disney Channel, now onto its own PlayStation 2 rhythm game. Bet on it, it's still a good song, goddammit.
Hi, what's up everybody? It's Xalem from that billion-dollar corporation that exploits and endangers young children. And you're watching Disney Channel. I am really high on fentanyl. This is a cry for help.
Disney Sing It Pop Hits. Look at all our favorite Disney characters. We have Jonas. Oh, and who is that? We'll sing hallelujah. It wasn't just Disney, though. Everybody was stealing this idea and using it if they could. I mean, let me just walk into this local thrift store and show you how many games in the clearance section use the PlayStation 2 microphone.
If I see another one of these SingStar games out in the wild, I'm gonna scream. Hello?
You're ready.
Ready for what?
This is a game series that changed the entire trajectory of my life. The music I listened to, the instruments I started to pick up.
A truly original sentence, I know.
This is everything about Guitar Freaks that we saw almost 10 years ago cranked all the way up to 11. 5 buttons on a guitar, a strum bar, a whammy bar, and 30 of some of the most recognizable rock songs of the past 30 years. My first experience was with Guitar Hero 3. My father got it as a Christmas gift for my mother, with the only real caveat being that we weren't allowed to play it because they didn't want us breaking the guitar. Mainly because my brother and sister were barely starting school at this point. However, one day when they weren't home, my dad allowed me to play for the first time. I scrolled through the entire playlist that my dad unlocked, pressed the blue button, and said, "Dad, why is the song all by itself?"
That right there's the hardest song in the game. You might want to crank that back to...
And I got consumed with Guitar Hero. I was playing this game 5, 6, 7 hours a day, seeing kids around my age on YouTube hitting through the fire and flames with 5 stars. I wanted to be like the greats. I wanted to be as good as Slash, Tom Morello, Ben from YouTube.com.
Now I'm gonna need you to be careful when playing that. Don't let the music get to your head like I did.
Guitar Hero 3 introduced me to some of my favorite bands around that time. Ryza, Killswitch, Muse. I'm not putting another Weezer joke here. And my little pea brain was blown away from the final boss. You're telling me that this song I've heard my entire life in backwoods North Carolina was putting these weedle-deedle-dee guitars in there? But this means I skipped out on the original Guitar Hero and... this was bad. Like, really bad. The hammer-on and pull-offs don't work the way they're supposed to. The timing window to hit a lot of these notes is way too sensitive. Anyone who's played rhythm games will tell you that you have to calibrate the game to the TV to account to desync audio, so that when you strum a note, it understands the delay between the TV and console. Oops, all gone. Trying to play with over 100 milliseconds delay, which for those who aren't aware is about 3 blinks of an eye, Guitar Hero 1 in this current year of our Lord is just unplayable. I also forgot that most of these songs weren't the original recordings. They were re-recorded in-house covers from bands around Boston near the Harmonix headquarters. But these were actual rock musicians working on this soundtrack. The song covers, to a child like me, I couldn't tell the difference between the real version and the cover versions, and the charts they used were fairly accurate, especially looking back at it now as somebody who's learned half of these songs and knows how to play guitar. I can overlook the minor scuffs on their first big jump into mainstream rhythm games, and I'm not the only one because Guitar Hero flooded the world by storm. You had Guitar Hero on the local news, sections in retail stores blocked off so people could try their hands at this brand new way to play video games. And the games kept coming, and the brands kept going, even so far as getting Aerosmith to have their own full-length game. Every kid in America between 8 and 18 was now growing up with the goal of wanting to be a famous guitarist. Until they didn't. Rock Band released during the boom of the Guitar Hero craze, adding a bass, drum sets, and bringing back those SingStar microphones we wore out singing The Killers too.
You sit there in your heartache.
Nothing really changed about the core gameplay. You still had the 5 guitar buttons, star power, whammy bar. Even the vocals copied nearly the identical formula created by SingStar. But the Rock Band drum set, now this was the talk of the town in 2007. Unlike 5 red buttons on a controller, this was actually laid out like an actual drum set would be. While the hi-hats and cymbals technically weren't in the right place, and sometimes it was hard to differentiate what was on screen between a hi-hat and a tom fill, this was the closest we had ever gotten to being able to use an actual instrument in a video game. So Guitar Freaks was stolen to become Guitar Hero was stolen to become Rock Band, and now Rock Band was stolen to become Guitar Hero World Tour, a copy and paste of the exact same game, which entered the realm of the Rhythm Wars. Back in 2008, you were one of 2 sides. You were on the side of the Rock Banders or the side of the Guitar Hero World Tourers. I was part of the latter. I didn't play Rock Band until after Guitar Hero World Tour, and I just think it's a better game. While Rock Band is specifically made for a more casual pick-up-and-play audience, I just feel like Guitar Hero has a lot more to offer. You've got the celebrity guest stars like Hayley Williams and Ozzy Osbourne, and a pretty decent custom character creator. I mean, you can put yourself in the music and make it look like you're playing up on stage. She's just like me for real, for real. You've got a custom song generator, which reminds me I can try to make it again. And all around, I just feel like Guitar Hero focuses so much more on the rock side of the music than offering a more casual experience like Rock Band did. Rock Band has a decent track list. I mean, they have my favorite artist of all time, which, by the way, is an absolute bitch to sing. But Guitar Hero World Tour introduced me to Paramore, Dream Theater, Tool, System of a Down, Foo Fighters, Linkin Park, Blink-182. Jesus, reading this back reminds me how sheltered I was. I sat down and played Scream Aim Fire by Bullet for My Valentine, and this changed the entire trajectory of my life. That's the moment I picked up my dad's guitar. That's the moment I got my first Craigslist drum set. I learned how to play piano, tried to learn every instrument, joined a band, got signed to a band so that I could finally learn to write my first song all on my own. Having that dream to write and mix and produce a song entirely by myself, and I still can't get it to not sound like shit. I gotta play more rhythm games. Now, have you ever wondered why Guitar Hero isn't around anymore? Well, in 2009, we had multiple Guitar Heroes and Rock Band releases such as Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Smash Hits, Lego Rock Bands. Oh, and if that's not enough, how about all of these versions of Guitar Hero and Rock Band released in just the year 2009? I mean, come on, how can you expect people to keep up with this with all of these games getting close to $60 upon release? If you were a Guitar Hero fan in 2009, you could be spending up to $400 on all new content without spending a single penny on DLC. And all of these games just continued to suffer in quality. Every single one was just copied and pasted with a new track list of songs, and sometimes you'd have someone dead show up before you blow your brains out from the amount of money you spent. Smash Hits was just re-released tracks from the first 5 games. Guitar Hero 5 barely offered anything new after Metallica. Van Halen offered more full band experiences, and Band Hero? Do you really want to know what I think about Band Hero?
Marry me, Juliet, you'll never have to be.
Now, the DS Guitar Heroes, I feel is a bit more justified. I don't agree with having all 3, but this is a much cheaper portable experience. You threw the peripheral inside of the DS, and here, Oh, you gotta be But then we get to DJ Hero, a Beatmania style game made to be aimed at a broader audience than the Guitar Hero games, primarily through the use of more contemporary music in its soundtrack. Now, for those of you who don't speak corporate,
Yeah, so my lawyers have advised me not to make this joke based off of factors that are kind of out of my control.
don't get me wrong, it was a fun time. But at this point, there are so many Guitar Heroes and rock bands polluting store shelves that any company trying to release a rhythm game during this time is just gonna be drowned out by wrong frets and Mad Catz guitars.
I don't know how many more of these rhythm games I can take. Thank you.
Rhythm Heaven, I had never even heard of, an original Nintendo IP from the makers of WarioWare with an adorable art style and some of the catchiest music I've ever heard in a video game series. My first exposure was actually Rhythm Heaven Fever on the Wii. I listened to the game's soundtrack online, and after never playing it before, I blindfolded myself and played through the entire game without ever looking at the game once. It's very similar to Elite Beat Agents, a title where you tap to the beat of the music and drag your stylus across the screen to more copywritten covers of music with a neat comic book art style to tell a more narrative story. If it looks familiar, then you would be right, because the same developer designed this spiritual successor called Osu, a rhythm game where you constantly see these absolutely nutty humans clicking 5,000 times per second, and I'm just trying to find a much simpler title. Everyone on the internet unapologetically bashes Wii Music and talks about this press conference where the Nintendo executives were displaying it for the first time. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say something nice about Wii Music. Michael Jackson The Experience. No, not that experience. I feel like everyone had this game in their home at some point, but I've never seen anybody talk about it, so let's check it out.
No one wants to be.
Every day we stray further and further away from God.
This is our last major stop in our exhausting quest to play every rhythm game I can get my hands on. The point of this game is in the title. You follow on-screen dancers as they show off the movements and mimic them with a Wii mode as you flop around your living room like a dying fish.
Hey!
An irritable dying fish. I am always down to play a game of just dance. It's just fun to turn your brain off and be active while doing it. It also solves a lot of problems that plague the Guitar Hero series. There's no setup, it doesn't take up real estate. You just grab a Wiimote, clear out some space, and tire yourself out after about 1 or 2 songs. Now, in the beginning, they did do spin-offs such as the Michael Jackson Experience and the Black Eyed Peas Experience, which, of all the bands that you could have decided to choose from, you couldn't have picked something a little bit better, like, I don't know, ABBA? What the f? Like, come on, I'm an adult man. I don't want to dance to I Got a Feelin'. I want to twerk to Coco Melon. Now, the Wii was a hot commodity for motion-based games, and with the release of the PS3 Move and Connect, we ended up getting some of the most bottom-of-the-barrel rhythm games that you could possibly imagine. Dance Central, Grease Dance, Rhythm Party. Have you ever heard the music in Star Wars Connect?
Like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky.
I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I'm seeing rhythm games everywhere. I'm hearing hallucinations everywhere that I go. I was in the store the other day, and I swear to God, the food started talking to me.
While the US was popping out more of these babies each year than the Catholic Church, Japan was blessing us with a brand new face of the rhythm game world, an internet idol known by all as Hatsune Miku. These bright blue pigtails grace the world in the form of a voice bank called Vocaloid, where you could program Miku and other mascot characters to sing the vocals to music that you still can't figure out how to produce. I feel like anywhere I go that's exposed to Japanese culture has Miku lingering around somewhere in the shadows. Which, all that popularity brings us to Project Diva, an arcade game that utilizes officially licensed music with the Vocaloid characters providing the melodies to each song. I like the Project Diva games. It's very similar to Osu, where you have to press the corresponding buttons on screen while an animated video plays in the background, but I swear, this is the weirdest scoring system I have ever seen in a video game. Apparently, you have to switch costumes to match the vibe of the song. However, the accessories to these costumes can act as multipliers, while others have additional effects that I would need a couple of hours here just to comprehend, let alone explain. You also have to have your score meter reach a certain level by the end of the song, which means if you don't have the right costumes and you don't have the right accessories, then it is entirely possible for you to hit every single note in a song and still fail.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, if there's anything that's gonna restore my sanity, it's gonna be a spin-off of my favorite game of all time, Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. This is a follow-up to Persona 4 Dancing All Night, a PS Vita game where you play along to remix songs from their respective Persona game. It comes with a full story mode where we can jump back in and hang out with all of our favorite characters, dance all night, see what I did there, and expand upon the original story from the original game.
There's not even a story. It's just conversations with the Phantom Thieves that are poorly strung together. I mean, yeah, sure, you can go to Makoto's room and play it in VR, but I mean, there's nothing of value here besides playing some not even good remixes from the original game. I mean, there's some good remixes in Persona 3 Dancing in Starlight, which is a much better game because the music sells it, but this is just a piss poor, bare bones experience meant to shove the Persona series back down my throat, which I'm kind of okay with up until now. The rhythm game genre is an oversaturated mess, with companies just throwing things at the wall, hoping that they stick, just so that they can elongate their IP for just a little bit longer until the next entry of the series so that we can throw our money towards that too. Lazy development cycles, lazy spin-offs, bad creativity in games, putting celebrities on box arts, throwing names out there just to get a quick buck, but I'm done. I'm so done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to listen to any more rhythm games until somebody can come up with some sort of concept that makes the creativity, brings the life back to rhythm games. I don't want anything to do with this genre ever again. So, can I join your band yet?
Maybe. Oh, have you made your way to Donkey Konga?